Greetings, nerds and virgins. Today we are going to be talking about the best knockouts in UFC history. But before we start, can you like and subscribe? I'm getting views, but I want some subscribers as well since I'm building a community here. So please subscribe to hop on the Shadow Train. Choo choo! Hop on the Shadow Train. But yeah. So first of all, we have Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje. Obviously a more recent one that happened at UFC 300. The fight was an epic chess match where both of them had their moments, but it looked like Max Holloway was taking control the entire fight, to be honest. They both had knockdowns. It was 3-1 heading into the 5th round. In most people's eyes, I saw some crazy people score it 2-2, and also they both had knockdowns as well. Even though Justin Gaethje's knockdown didn't count against Max Holloway, he definitely got knocked down there. Just like some of Max Holloway's didn't count against Justin Gaethje, which were clear knockdowns as well. So, in the last 10 seconds were absolute madness. Justin Gaethje throws a rolling thunder, misses. Max Holloway points to the center of the octagon, and they go fucking slinging to the fences. They're both landing good shots on each other, but then the final second, boom! Max Holloway with the BMF finish shuts out the highlights lights. Right, the next best knockout in UFC history was obviously Yair Rodriguez versus the Korean Zombie. Also, there isn't an order for this, I'm just saying it however I want. But yeah, Yair versus TKZ happened in 2018. Yair was down on the scorecards. It's the 5th round. TKZ's having yet another really good round. But the final seconds, Yair throws the craziest shit I've ever seen. I don't even think we've ever seen an elbow finish like that in the UFC before, let alone in the last second. The Korean Zombie comes charging in with some hooks, but then bang, out of nowhere, Yair Rodriguez throws that crazy elbow. It looked like how a disabled person would throw an elbow. It was like an up elbow, I don't know how to describe it, but it was fucking crazy in the last second as well. In a fight he was down on the scorecards in. Crazy. Alright, the next best knockout, we got Jun Buckley versus Impa Kazagne. I don't even know how to say that last name. I probably butchered it, but I don't give a shit. Let me tell you how this knockout went. So it happened in round 2, and what happened was Jun Buckley threw a kick, Impa caught it, and Impa held onto that leg, right? And rather than throwing the leg or something or shooting a takedown, he just held it there. He stood still like a statue, didn't know what to do with it. And Jun Buckley does some flying, spinning kick. It was awesome. We've never seen it before. And everyone after Jun Buckley tried that started trying it at the gym and shit. But that shit was absolute madness, and that's what blew up Jun Buckley's star power. Next up, we got Edson Barboza versus Terry Adam. If you don't know Terry Adam, then he's the guy that was the victim of Edson Barboza's killer spinning heel kick. Yes, you guys know the viral one I'm talking about that always goes around on Twitter and shit. It was epic. It happened a hella long ago. I think it was 2012. And that's what really blew Edson Barboza up. That was his breakout moment. After that kick, he became a fan favorite and produced a lot of other good knockouts, like the one against Beneil Dariush. That flying knee was fucking crazy. But he's also been on the end of some vicious knockouts, like the one against Justin Gaethje. And he got knocked down by Bryce Mitchell, which I think, no offense to Bryce Mitchell, but if you're getting knocked down by him, then it's not really a good look. But who knows, Edson Barboza might come back. But speaking of Bryce Mitchell, the next knockout we got is Josh Emmett versus Bryce Mitchell, the one where Bryce Mitchell was spazzing out on the ground. I'm a Bryce Mitchell fan, by the way, don't think I'm shitting on him, but basically what happened was Josh Emmett was scheduled to fight Giga Chikadze. Giga pulled out. I forgot why, but Bryce Mitchell came in on short notice against the worst matchup possible, probably looking for a paycheck, except got some years taken off his life, sadly. And yeah, Josh Emmett backed him up. Bryce Mitchell didn't know how to really handle getting backed up like that. And against the cage, he was like a statue. He didn't move at all. He was just standing there, open to the killer overhand by Josh Emmett. So Josh Emmett throws it, lands it, and has Bryce Mitchell spazzing on the ground while Josh Emmett is screaming in his face like a lion. So yeah, that's the most scary knockout on this list, I reckon. Aesthetically to look at, it's a fucking amazing knockout to look at. So next up, we got Jorge Masvidal versus Ben Askren. Let me give you the rundown here, okay? Ben Askren going in 19-0, undefeated American wrestler, former Bellator champion, former ONE FC champion. He couldn't be stopped. he was obviously coming off a win, a controversial win at that, versus Robbie Lawler, but still, this guy wasn't a force to be reckoned with. He was like a minus 1,000 favorite over Jorge Masvidal. Basically, what happened was the guy got knocked out in 5 seconds. So all his accomplishments, everything Ben Askren has ever done, got diminished in 5 fucking seconds. That's how quick it can take to lose everything, guys, so just remember that. But yeah, there was a lot of talk going into that matchup, a lot of history with them because they trained together before, and Ben Askren talking about how easy he was really got on the nerves of Jorge Masvidal just to get knocked out in 5 seconds. And yeah, you can say that it wasn't luck by Jorge Masvidal, but he was definitely lucky Ben Askren reacted the way he did when he ran at him. He was obviously always planning to throw that knee, but if Ben Askren reacted differently, then that knee wouldn't have landed and he probably would have had a rough night. But point being is it did land, and that's what makes the knockout so great, that in the 1 out of 100 chances it actually landed. Next up, we got Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman 2. That fucking head kick was crazy. So let me give you the rundown here. Edwards already lost to Usman. This was their rematch, right? He lost to him years prior. Now he's on like a 10-fight win streak, fighting Usman for the undisputed title that Leon has been chasing since the start of his career. He's been calling for it for so long, and it wasn't looking good. He was down 3-1 on the cards. He had a great first round, had terrible rounds 2, 3, and 4. Got absolutely wrestle-fucked. He looked like he had nothing in him left. No stamina, no cardio. But out of nowhere, he gets a literal gift from God. Now, I don't know if he saw something in Usman which told him he was going to lean that way, or maybe he did a little feint to get him to lean that way, but in a fight he was down 3-1. He got motivation from his corner. They said, don't let him bully you. And in the 5th round, where he looked down and out, looked tired as fuck, didn't throw a single strike, didn't do anything until the head kick, he throws that magic head kick. It lands, knocks out Kamaru Usman, and he has his Rocky story, and he wins the belt. Head shot dead. Next up, we got Michael Chandler versus Tony Ferguson. Happened in 2022, and honestly, it was the last we saw of prime Tony Ferguson. Like, in round 1, that was prime Tony. I don't care what anyone says. We saw prime Tony in round 1, where he knocked Michael Chandler down. He was looking great on the feet. And even from bottom, he was throwing elbows. He looked like the old El Kukui that we all know and love. But then, a disaster came. Round 2. So what happened was, Tony Ferguson still piecing Michael Chandler up. But then Chandler, out of nowhere, the short little brick house, he throws a front kick for the first time in his career. And he literally sends Tony Ferguson to the Shadow Realm. So yeah, great KO. 100% a flick though. He was going to lose that fight if he didn't throw that, let's be real. But he did throw that, and that's what's so great about it. The lucky knockouts are the best ones. Alright, next up we got Anthony Pettis versus Wonderboy Thompson. Now listen, Anthony Pettis is a highlight reel himself, and his brother as well. They both have tons of killer knockouts. So Wonderboy, the greatest striker in UFC history in everybody's eyes. Like, we've seen what he did to Jeff Neal, what he did to Vicente Luque, what he did to Robert Whittaker, the Reaper, what he did to Darren Till but got robbed. Like, if you're in a pure striking match with Wonderboy, you're gonna lose no matter who the fuck you are. So Wonderboy, this killer kickboxer, the guy who's never been knocked out in like 50 plus kickboxing fights, in like 20 UFC fights, he goes up against Anthony Pettis. And he was piecing Anthony Pettis up. Obviously, it wasn't even the best version of Pettis. Pettis was at his prime here as well, moving up a weight class. But let me tell you what happened. So, Wonderboy's piecing him up as Anthony Pettis backed up against the cage. But you know what Pettis does? He does a fucking Superman punch off the cage and knocks out Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. That's why his nickname is Showtime, and that's why we'll always watch him and love and respect Anthony Pettis, one of the greatest knockouts of all time. And yeah, if you haven't seen it, I recommend you go look it up because it was crazy. It's also one that goes under the radar a bit, but this one certainly doesn't go under the radar. You know who I'm talking about. Francis Ngannou versus Alistair Overeem. You already know. The uppercut from hell. I mean, that's all I can really say about it, really. That's where we got introduced to how strong Ngannou's power really is. Like, he sent Alistair Overeem to another dimension with that uppercut. You know, the funny part about that as well is apparently he didn't even get a knockout of the night performance with that. Yeah, he got a knockout of the year on the ESPN awards and a lot of other award shit. So yeah, Dana White was being stingy as fuck with that one. But still, definitely one of the greatest knockouts we've ever seen. The scariest knockout we've ever seen. But yeah, guys, if you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe to hop on the Shadow Train. Choo choo! Hop on the Shadow Train. But yeah, I'll see you at the top!
Hey, you tried to break me, but you couldn't tear me apart. I've got a fire inside, gonna ignite and restart. I'm rising up higher than before. With every step I take, I'm closing in on the score.